which is widening. But you mentioned wealth generation and social responsibility. Let's tie that here to Tanzania. I mean, at the moment, there's a lot of concern about foreign investors, especially foreign investors, coming in and which is a good thing. I mean, foreign investment brings in tax revenues for the government and skills and so forth. But there's a concern that what they're doing is not beneficial to the environment they're operating in. For instance, the mining sector. How do you see, what is the issue? What is the problem? Is it government regulation? Are they left to do a free hand to do as they please, or is there a lack of regulation? Who enforces these values that you're talking about, the social market economy and responsibility for the environment? Who enforces those?
No, it's the duty of the state to enforce it. Because I mean, in the social market economy, of course, you have a market economy, but the state has a very strong role to play and to give and to secure the setup and the frame so that the market instruments can function. So of course it's the state who has to make sure that there are no monopolies, that the bigger doesn't eat the smaller, that there are no cartels to fix prices and to make better prices. And of course if you speak about the mining sector, I have read it in the newspapers and I admit it must be a problem here. It's of course the state who must put into action a system that makes sure that the companies who are coming in, of course, deliver to the society as well, and not only take the natural resources which belong to Tanzania, and the profit must be for both sides, of course. Of course, you need always foreign investment to develop yourself, but you have to make sure that there's transfer of technology, technological skills, that you have jobs, that it is sustainable, that it doesn't destroy your environment. And so far, I just arrived in February here. I'm not sure if there's really an instrumentarium in place which makes this sure, because you often read that there's a lot of problems around this mining sector and that people protest because they have the feeling that they are not part of this business, that they don't benefit. So, and just maybe one sentence more, because before we spoke about the constitution and the German constitution, and I looked it up in the Tanzanian constitution as well, and I was wondering about that. They have a big chapter about economy in the Tanzanian constitution. It's about ujamaa and self-reliance, and there you have it clearly that the natural resources should be used for the benefit of all, or not for the benefit of only a few. And only you have to make sure, you have it in the constitution, you only have to make sure that there's an instrumentarium, a system that secures that this is really put into practice.
Mr. Shawai, it's well and good to have these kind of values on paper. But the key thing with a lot of developing countries, and especially in Tanzania, some say, is that it's the implementation part that's the problem. So what are your thoughts on setting up a system whereby these values are actually the values in the constitution, which are already there, if this is not something that is new, they're already there, are actually implemented?
Well, to continue where Stefan stopped, I think the major thing here is the mindset. I mean, the government has to set the pace. What kind of environment do we have? Why are people complaining? I mean, why is it a big deal that we don't know what contracts are signed? I mean, our parliament has problems even reading these contracts. I mean, for God's sake, I mean, those resources belong to the people. Now, why shouldn't they know what their government is doing with those resources? Okay, I don't expect every citizen will have access to that contract, but the representative of these people should at least read what the government has done. Number two, the role of the machinery, the bureaucracy, must be redefined. Do they really understand that they're there to facilitate and make things happen fast? Or do they take the old role and make sure that you stop everything, make it as difficult as possible, almost to the level that somebody just gives up? Now, if we don't change those, because I'm not saying that they should allow everything, no. Checks and balances should be there, But the impression a person must get is that, okay, I'm being facilitated, I'm being helped, I don't know this, I don't understand that, and somebody's taking care of that. And maybe, if I may go further, Frank, maybe our approach needs to change. I'm not saying it's wrong, but maybe it needs to change. We must refocus and ask ourselves a number of questions. At the moment, let me make it clear, like Stefan said, investment is important, whether it's foreign or local. It has to be there. But what is the environment? Now, the way I look at it is we are trying to entice foreign investors by giving them tax reliefs, which is money which should come our way. Now, if we turned the situation around and said, okay, stop investing at the moment, we are going to do the investment ourselves in the infrastructure, be it electricity, water, roads. We're going to create zones where you can do business. We're going to create, maybe if there's a mining area, we're going to have houses and all this, and then tell you, come and do business. In other words, what I'm saying is that if Frank wants to build a hotel in Kisarawe, he'll just look for a piece of land. He will not look for tax relief, because he'll have water, he'll have electricity, road access and everything. Now, let's create this environment with this money, which is supposed to be tax relief, and then see what happens, because some countries have done that and they've succeeded. I'm quoting Mauritius, for example.
In your advocacy for a social market economy in Tanzania, for an African social market economy, how's been the response? How do you go about this, and what is the response?
Yes.
Are people listening to what you're saying?
Yes, I think so. It's pretty positive, and not only in Tanzania. We have, for example, in Ghana, we are in nearly every African country working, and especially in Ghana, the expert in Kufur, he came even to Berlin and spoke about African social market economy on a high-level conference in Berlin, and tried to promote this economic system. And even here in Tanzania, we just started this year, more or less, with raising this topic. And we started with the visit of the former German president, Mr. Köhler, who has been as well the director of the IMF. And we had a conference in Dar es Salaam raising this issue. And the feedback was very positive. There are a lot of people from all sectors coming back to us, asking what it is about. We have people from the university asking us if we could provide some material to learn more about the social market economy thing. So I think we have just started a debate and a discussion, and we'd like to promote it and to go